Welcome to Calming Harp, the sounds of David's Psalms. I'm glad you've joined us for this brief moment we share together. I will be playing some of the music that has been brought out of the Psalms. My name is Steve Rees. I play the harp, and over the last several years I've been bringing the sounds of David's Psalms into recordings. You can find a lot of my music on my website, www.calmingharp.com. I have CDs available and MP3s. And you can go to YouTube. If you go to YouTube and then type in Peregrinati, Peregrinnatti, you will find hours of beautiful harp music that you can just play in the background and be calmed with the music that David may have played for his sheep at one time or another. So as we share this half hour, join me and enjoy the sounds of David's harp. Well, good morning. Here we are. I'm in Florida this morning and I brought my grandkids back to my son and his wife, and we are spending a bit of time here helping them get settled in their new home, and so we're having a blessed time. So anyway, we just had a great trip with our grandkids across the Northwest and down into the Midwest and on down into the South. So it's been a fun 3 weeks. Anyway, I wanted to start this session with a reading out of Oswald Chambers, and it's titled God's Purpose or Mine. And he writes, "We tend to think that Yeshua compels us to do something and we are obedient to him, and he will lead us into great success. We should never have that thought that our dreams of success are God's purpose for us. In fact, his purposes may be exactly the opposite. We have the idea that he is leading us toward a particular end or desired goal, but he's not. The question of whether or not we arrive at a particular goal is of little importance, and reaching it becomes merely an episode along the way. What we see as only the process of reaching a particular end, God sees as the goal itself. What is my vision of God's purpose for me? Whatever it may be, his purpose is for me to depend on him and on his power. Now, if I can stay calm, faithful, and unconfused while in the middle of the turmoil of life, the goal of the purpose of God is being accomplished in me. God is not working toward a particular finish. His purpose is the process itself. What he desires for me is that I see him walking on the waters, with no shore, no success, or goal in sight, but simply having the absolute certainty that everything is all right because I see him walking on the water. It is the process, not the outcome, that is glorifying to God. God's training is for now, not later. His purpose is for this very minute, not for some time in the future. We have nothing to do with what will follow our obedience, and we are wrong to concern ourselves with it. What people call preparation God sees as the goal itself. His purpose is to enable me to see that he can walk on the storms of my life right now. If we have a further goal in mind, we are not paying enough attention to the present time. However, if we realize that moment by moment obedience is the goal, then each moment as it comes is precious. I was just amazed at those thoughts, because so often we question whether God's really in charge in our lives. And, we obey something, we get a word, whatever, we act on it, and it doesn't turn out the way we think it's supposed to or expected it to. And we immediately think that, we must have not heard it right, or something else must be wrong. We need to address something else. And the reality is that our Heavenly Father says, no, I just asked you to obey what I said. Don't worry about what comes out of that. I was going through some of the Psalms, and I wanted to just kind of coordinate some of them with that. The first one is Psalm 3. O Yahweh, how my adversaries have increased, many rising up against me. Many are saying of me, there is no deliverance for him in Elohim. Selah, stop and think about that. But you, O Yahweh, are a shield for me, my esteem, and the one lifting up my head. I cried to Yahweh with my voice, and he heard me from his set-apart mountain. Selah, think about that. I laid down and slept. I awoke, and Yahweh sustained me. I am not afraid of 10,000s of people who have set themselves against me all around. Arise, O Yahweh, and save me, O my Elohim, because you have stricken all my enemies on the cheek. You have broken the teeth of the wrong. Deliverance belongs to Yahweh. Your blessing is on your people. Selah. Stop and think about that. So I'm going to play one of my songs called Mountain Paths from my album called Illuminations. And the other one I'm going to do is from Illumination as well, called The Shelter of Your Wings. So first of all, here's the Mountain Paths, and then I'll come back with another one of the Psalms. So another one of the Psalms that I'd like to share this morning as well is actually an acrostic psalm. It's acrostic, meaning that the first letter of each verse is one of the letters of the alphabet and goes all the way through the 22 letters. So, praise you, Yahweh, with all my heart. I declare all your wonders. I rejoice and exult in you. I sing praise to your name, O Most High. When my enemies turn back, they stumble and perish before you. You executed my right and my cause. You sat on the throne judging in righteousness. You have rebuked the nations. You have destroyed the wrong. You have wiped out their name forever and ever. The enemy is no more, ruins everlasting, and you have uprooted the cities, even their remembrance has perished. But Yahweh abides forever. He is preparing his throne for judgment, and he judges the world in righteousness. He judges the people in straightness. And Yahweh is a refuge for the crushed ones, a refuge in times of distress. And those who know your name trust in you, for you have not forsaken those who seek you, O Yahweh. Sing praises to Yahweh, who dwells in Zion. Declare his deeds among the people. For he remembers the seekers of bloodshed. He does not forget the cry of the afflicted. Show favor to me, O Yahweh. See my affliction by those who hate me, you who lift me up from the gates of death, so that I declare all your praise in the gates of the daughters of Zion. I rejoice in your deliverance. The nations have sunk down to the pit which they made, in the net which they hid. Their own foot is caught. Yahweh has made himself known. He has done right ruling. The wrong is snared in the work of his own hands. Selah. Think about that. The wrong return to Sheol, all the nations that forget Yahweh. For the needy is not always forgotten, neither the expectancy of the poor lost forever. O Yahweh, arise, do not let men prevail. Let the nations be judged before your face. Put them in fear, O Yahweh. Let the nations know that they are but men. Selah. So, when we are tempted to think that he has forgotten us, do not despair. He does remember, and when his judgments come, those who have been on the wrong side of history are going to know it. I think it's just so important for us to continue to remember that our Heavenly Father is in charge. I read pretty much every morning. I get up and read through some of the headlines just to kind of be a son of Issachar and know my times. And it could be very discouraging if I let that be my guiding star, but it's not. My guiding star is what I just read, that Yahweh is just, and he will take care of those who are abusing their privilege, abusing their leadership, abusing their being false, being lying-tongued, all of these things that we see going on regularly, and apparently no accountability. Well, I'm here to say right here and right now there is accountability. It may be taking longer than we think it should, but it is going to come. Another psalm that I wanted to read to share with you all is Psalm 32. Blessed is he whose transgression is forgiven, whose sin is covered. Blessed is the man to whom Yahweh imputes no crookedness, and in whose spirit there is no deceit. When I kept silent, my bones became old, through my groaning all day. For the day and night your hand was heavy upon me. My sap was turned into the droughts of summer. Selah. I acknowledged my sin to you, and my crookedness I did not hide. I have said, I confess my transgression to Yahweh, and you forgave the crookedness of my sin. Selah. So even when we make mistakes, we can still appeal to him, and he will cover through the blood of Yeshua. Verse 6, therefore let every lovingly committed one pray to you while you might be found. Even in a flood of great waters, they would not reach him. You are my hiding place. You preserve me from distress. You surround me with songs of deliverance. Selah. Let me instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. Let me counsel my eye be on you. Do not be like the horse or like the mule, with no understanding, with bit and bridle, else they do not come near you. Many are the sorrows of the wrong, but as for the one trusting in Yahweh, loving commitment surrounds him. Be glad in Yahweh and exult, you righteous, and shout for joy, all you upright in heart. So there we are. So let's go to the next song that I want to play, and then I'll finish out with a few thoughts. So there is the music of the shelter of your wings. And as we read in the last psalm, our Heavenly Father is our hiding place. He is our deliverance. He is our shelter. Psalm 91, once again, it says we will even feel His pinions of His wings over us as we hide in the secret place of the Most High. As these days continue to come upon us and things get harder and harder, I just noted in the news that we are now officially in a recession, possibly even a depression economically. Well, what does that mean for us? That means to me anyway, and what I want to share with you is that we need to be more and more dependent on our Heavenly Father. It was just a testimony to share with you all as we were on this trip out into the Northwest in California, picking up our grandkids and coming back, showing them some of the beautiful sights of that America has to offer. It was fascinating and encouraging to Shirley and I that our Heavenly Father in so many ways provided for what we needed. Yes, fuel is more expensive, but He brought in more provision to cover that. Things that we thought we were going to see, we didn't, and things that we didn't know we were going to get to see, we did. And we felt our Heavenly Father leading each step of the way. And it's always been so amazing to us. As we shared our presentation on the tabernacle, we had person after person either talking with us or calling us later, telling us what a difference that made to them. And so we knew that the Father had sent us out there, and each time we got a testimony from somebody, we knew that He was reaffirming to us that He had sent us, and in the sending He had also provided for us. And I would like to challenge each one of us, myself included, to more and more look to our Heavenly Father for His assignments and His provisions, and to walk out in that obedience of what He has told us to do, not pre-discerning what we think is going to happen, but just walk out in the obedience and let Him be in charge of what that produces. And don't be discouraged when we don't get what we think it should be. Our Heavenly Father knows exactly what needs to take place in our lives and the lives of others around us. So let me encourage you today to walk out into His plans for you. So I hope you've enjoyed our time together. Stay tuned, as I say. Little pun. I have many more songs to share with you. I have more to share about how this all comes together. And I pray that you will share and help people, especially those you see stressed, especially in these times that we're going through. Bring people to this calming and this peace and this rest that this beautiful music of the Psalms of David brings to each of our lives. Thank you for listening. Hope to see you next week. Many, many blessings to you all today.